Oh, yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that. All right, hey, everyone. We think we can get to 12 if Brad speaks very fast. Let's go ahead and get going. What I'd like to do first is recognize Representative Cox for a moment of prayer, please.
God, thank you for today, and thank you for this committee. And we just pray favor in all that we do, that you give us your wisdom and your knowledge and understanding to help us get through some of these challenging topics. And just we ask for your guidance. In Christ's name, amen.
Thank you. What we plan to do today, members of the committee, is hear the sub on 986. Representative Thomas, I know that you are prepared to go through the changes in the sub. Is that accurate?
Yes, that's correct, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. So what I'd like to do is ask you to start with the LC number, please. This has been about the 100th version of this bill, so I just want to make sure we're looking at the correct bill. And then if you could bring us through a quick summary of the changes, please, and then we'll open it up to questions, all right? Okay. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee members. Today I present House Bill 986. The LC number should be LC 56014S. So just make sure everybody's got that. The same bill that's been presented, I guess this is the third time that we've talked through this bill now. So we took the language. I'm just going to go through the changes from the original presentation. Part 1 has not changed. It's exactly the same. Part 2 revised line 45 to say, revised an election to say such election. Line 46, election administration to say the administration of such election. And line 47 to say, instead of a referendum, it was changed to say such referendum. That's to ensure the language is clear that it's only applying to a particular referendum or an issue or election. We increased the minimum sentence from 1 year to 2 years. This was a suggestion by the Prosecuting Attorney's Council. It's intended to serve as more of a deterrent from committing the crime. Let's see, section 2.2 or 2-2 is the same, 2-3 is the same. Section 2.4 or 2-4, I'm sorry, is at the beginning of page 5. It just says that this disclaimer covers similar material as an election crime, so it's just kind of a general note. The line 118 was changed and added, notwithstanding the prohibitions contained in the code section. The goal is to make it clear to the reader and the court the person cannot avoid the election crime by using a disclaimer as provided as part of the bill. And the other thing you'll probably notice is there's no section 3 anymore, which was a section of the bill that I really liked. We're actually decided to split that out into a separate bill and run it through. I can only imagine it'll probably be assigned to Judy non-civil. So with that is the changes to the bill. Open for questions and go from there.
Representative Thomas, real quick, I just want to make sure that the committee understands the seal, for lack of a better...
That's been removed.
That has been removed.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Any questions from the committee? That's a miracle.
Oh,
you have no questions, sir. They have relieved you of that pain and suffering. All right.
Well, I have to say, Mr. Chairman, it's been very well vetted. Yeah. We've spent a lot of time on this, so I appreciate it.
There is no doubt. Will of the committee? Do I have a second? Second. All right, I got a motion and I have a second. Do I have any discussion?
At the proper time.
The chair recognizes you for an amendment, please.
Yeah, so I'd like to make an amendment that was changed from the original version that did not get included in this LC. And it's going to say, bear with me here just a second. I did not have it highlighted. It changes the definition of a person to include this. So after, see line 40, bear with me here, y'all. 40, even the line numbers are different. Person. Okay, at the end of line 40, to add Such term shall not include a broadcaster, cable provider, online service, streaming platform, or any employees or agents thereof who otherwise would not fall under this definition of person, except for their sale of advertising to a person as defined in this paragraph. And legal counsel does have this language.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's my First Amendment.
Any questions? Just for clarification, before I entertain that motion, this was basically in reference to the ISPs and broadcast TV?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you very much, Representative Thomas. I got a motion on the amendment.
Second.
All in favor? All opposed? Okay. Representative Thomas, do you have another amendment?
Yes, sir, I do. I just want to make sure my lines are lined up correctly here. Let's see. Ben, where would we, could you suggest line 64? After line 64, to add the following: a criminal prosecution for a violation of this code section shall only be initiated upon the Attorney General or District Attorney receiving a recommendation to prosecute from the State Election Board.
Any questions? Whip Park?
If we could maybe get someone from the Prosecutors Council to just ensure that that initial requirement first needs to be made before a district attorney can proceed with prosecution, that would be helpful.
I think that's fair, Whip Park. Mr. Smith?
Thank you. Thank you. Robert Smith with the Prosecuting Attorneys Council. This is something, if you want to limit the prosecution this way, you can. Normally in the lifespan of a case, law enforcement will investigate it, and the GBI, police department, sheriff's department, Department of Agriculture, whoever has law enforcement capabilities will investigate the case and then present us with a case file. And in this case, with it being a felony, then the DA's office would present it to the grand jury for indictment or their consideration of a bill of indictment. We don't have in Georgia the ability for a grand jury to say, hey, we want to start investigating things. They have the ability to recommend that charges be brought, but for the most part, it's reactive to a law enforcement making an investigation, giving us a case file.
So are there no concerns that first requiring the state election board to make some sort of finding that warrants investigation, that would in any way limit or diminish the protections that this bill could otherwise provide? No,
because if you have this, either the GBI, the State Elections Board, somebody needs to investigate this first and hand it to us. But to be perfectly blunt, and I'm not trying to be rude, but we still have the discretion. So thank you, State Elections Board. Thank you, GBI. We appreciate this, but the local DA still has the discretion to determine whether or not the probable cause exists to be able to get a conviction. And that is, we have a higher ethics duty. If we don't believe that we have enough evidence to get a conviction, we can't go forward. And if we do, we could lose our licenses.
So just for purposes of clarification, regardless, are you then saying that regardless of whether or not the state election board recommends that there's an investigation, DAs would still be able to pursue an investigation? Is that correct?
It would depend. Basically, the State Elections Board is a fact. They're going to be the ones who tell us, hey, that this is the evidence. Having the bandwidth to be able to do another investigation after the State Elections Board, y'all haven't given us the resources to do a second investigation.
Yes, sir.
To be honest.
Mr. Chairman, I just don't want to ensure that there is an unnecessary condition precedent.
There's not.
Okay.
There's not.
Okay. If y'all are comfortable with the language,
We are.
I'm fine.
Thank you.
Thank you, Whip Park. What I'd like to do, everyone, I realized I miscounted. We had 11 when we voted for the First Amendment, and our quorum is 12. Now that Chairman Perkle has come, we're at 12. What I'd like to do is, with the will of the committee, I'd like to reconsider the vote on that First Amendment so we can get that into the record as having 12 in attendance. So I'll recognize Chairman, excuse me?
Yeah. I'm
with
one.
Brad.
Yeah. I count. I count as a vote sometimes.
Mr. Chairman, I'll restate my motion to pass.
Second, oh, well, can we go back for, I just want to be really, really clear. We're referring to the First Amendment, and just for the record, please read the First Amendment, please, just
Oh.
for the record.
Oh, jeez.
Just the last sentence, please.
Yeah. All right. Such terms shall not, sorry. Lines, such terms shall not include a broadcaster, cable provider, online service, streaming platform, or any employees or agents thereof who would otherwise not fall under this definition of person except for their sale of advertising to a person as defined in this paragraph.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Perfect, that passes. What I'd like to do now is, I'd like to put the second motion, if you could, please read that one more time. Sorry. We have 12 now.
Yeah, sorry, I gotta find it. It's line 60. Okay,
64.
here we go. A criminal prosecution for a violation of this code section shall not be initiated upon the Attorney General, District Attorney receiving a recommendation to prosecute from the State Election Board. And Legislative Council has this language.
Okay. Any discussion? Will of the committee? We got a motion, we have a second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, I think we have two more votes for, I'll say parliamentary. I just want to confirm with Leg Council. We have a motion on the table, Ben? Sorry, yeah, we have a motion on the table right now to pass the bill. I just want to make sure, we're going to pass the bill, then we do another vote, pass as amended? Right, but I have a motion on the table right now to pass the bill. But, so we'll end the discussion, but then I have to take a motion to make sure it's, that the new motion is as amended by the committee. Right, that's what I'm getting at.
We act on my motion and it's as stated as it's human. We don't have to make a second. We don't have to make a second.
I mean, we don't have to make a second? Okay, just want to make sure. I don't want the rules sending it back for inconcrete purposes. Okay, so just for clarity, we do have a first and we do have a second, and this is to pass LC 560114S as amended by this committee. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? God bless America. You're on to rules. We're adjourned.